Eating is an agricultural act. This great guy who was a superb farmer but also a philosopher came up with this line, and it's such a cool point to everything I believe in. So when we eat something, when we understand what consumers are eating, then we understand to build the supply chain back from that. And that's something I feel very strongly about. This was my first agricultural act as a little boy on our strawberry farm. And I went on to develop my first business, which was called an agritech business, which is a patented strawberry growing system. And I built that up and sold the business before I was 30. What I want to talk about are the real issues around food. And the main one we can see is that it's all about fear. And whether those reasons to be fearful are right or wrong, the reality is that people are fearful about what they're eating. And this is creating a huge issue around trust. But from that is creating three opportunities that could be really, really interesting for the farming and food entire supply chain. Firstly is that we're seeing tremendous innovations around using actual plants as ingredients to add into a product from a new product development perspective. Real ingredients that have a real change in our nutrition or flavours rather than artificial chemicals. The second area is seeing a massive leap in innovations around how we make things and how we then also protect that right through the supply chain. So innovations around that space that is going to lower costs and deliver on the environmental needs that we need to have. And the last area, most crucially, is how we engage with consumers. Innovations around tech are absolutely key, and these are happening now right across the board. So if we quickly look at some innovations around ingredients, we analysed over 2,000 products over 2 years to see where things are changing. And this is where we started to see the big leaps in where things are coming in and coming out. And from that, we can also look at innovations around how things are made. We're seeing things made absolutely on where we are, hyper-local, in cities or even in our homes, big leaps in that. And within that, we're looking at patents that protect those ideas so that we can build scalable, investable business opportunities. And of course, we're looking for a trust antidote. So here's an example of all around the world now of produce being grown in cities. But even the case below here is how things are grown actually at home, where you grow your own product. And then we've got innovations around new eating occasions. And this is an example here with Renourish, how they've reinvented how the soup can be eaten on the go. Very clever idea. Right through to people developing new ideas about how you create a product. So the lower product here on the slide is Ruffs, and they have invented a new way to bind food ingredients together without any starch or sugar. Again, another incredible invention. But beyond that, we're seeing other areas around how things link to the consumer through the supply chain. Blockchain's been around for a while as a way to trace product, but actually up to this point, it hasn't been possible to use it, in my opinion, wisely, because there could be errors in the data going in that we're locking down in a digital process. But what we are now seeing is some clever systems. Encode is an edible, colourless, odourless marker that can digitally code a product from where it's from anywhere in the world. And that means we can now trace that product right through the supply chain. And then, of course, there are other ideas using surveillance and compliance technology, such as this from Copeaks, where they're analysing an animal in a house constantly 24/7. Rather than relying on a human being to look at the house 3 times a day, we're looking at 24/7 every single animal. And this can help predict and avoid welfare issues. It can deal with compliance challenges with the supply chain. And ultimately, this is about making sure that we're doing the right thing for the animal. So looking at digital areas around consumers, this is an example where we've got a new marketplace. It's recently been funded through Cedars, it's at over £1.3 million, and that's a new marketplace for how farmers and consumers and the supply chain will work together. It's a very exciting area, as an example. Here's a more niche area, which is artisan or health products, but this business is going to be using their supply chain to cut out existing channels that are already in the way and lower the cost for how you can get hold of products like this. At the same time, we're using it to test new ideas that could be really interesting with their marketplace. So we're looking at all kinds of friction-free ways of buying now. So how we use digital tech to then, for instance, order product at the table and pay for it through the app, which of course is building a massive data on who that consumer is and what they're buying and what they prefer and not, and what they don't like. Right through to friction-free, again, buying from walk-in is an example of an app where people can pre-order, prepay, and when it's ready, they'll walk in and walk out of a restaurant, avoiding queuing. We're all lazy, that's how it works. Personalised nutrition is going to be huge. It's been talked about for a long time, and now it's really starting to happen. These two companies are really breaking through with that. Then all of that will feed through to understanding what people eat and what they don't eat. So Spoonshot is an example, as there are other companies like this, that are actually analysing the entire planet with conversations around ingredients and how they work together. So we can test and predict what people will be eating in the future. And from that, we're also looking to personalised nutrition in the way that we can have specific vitamins actually made on a 3D printer for us. So it's actually personalised to our individual requirements. There's more scarier stuff, which would be probably more fictional at the moment, but ultimately could happen, where we swallow a capsule and that capsule is monitoring what's in our stomach and therefore telling us then how to react to that. And that could be a real breakthrough. There are already digital sensors on us already for sugar and insulin control, but this is another step forward. And a probably even more extreme version is something that sits within our teeth. But I think, whether these are real or not, what matters is it's going to happen. Ultimately, to bespoke menus. Now, people will criticise this and support it. So either way, we're just trying to throw out ideas. And of course, direct-to-consumer is a massive market. We're breaking how we are now buying stuff, and this is growing more and more. And it'll be very interesting to see how the brandless brand starts to play out, because of course, if we've already bought it through a digital medium, why do we need packaging at all? So whole ways of buying, whole ways of what we buy are going to change. Key takeaway from this is that the antidote to fear is security. So how does digital solutions rebuild that security, rebuild that trust? And at the same time, what will that look like? It is through innovations in real ingredients. It is through new supply chain technologies, and it is through retail digitalization that enables it to be personalized and specific to us as a consumer. Thank you.